Father, hey, pretty mama, gonna dance with his daddy all night long. I can get some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, gonna take me by the hand.
By the hand, take me by the hand, pretty mama.
Gonna dance with daddy all night long. I can get some funky Dixieland. Pretty mama, come and take me by the hand.
Okay, viewers, we're here just off the Bowery. I'm going to try to get some pictures of an exhibition by Martha Edelheit, Naked City, paintings from 1965 to 1980. And Eric Firestone. Well, I was coming down the street and I've, of course, gotten invitations to the show, and I had some other plans. I was thinking I would pop in and see this maybe next week, but as they say, the best laid plans of mice and men fall apart, and so I wasn't able to catch a show that I was hoping to catch, but I saw this and the lights were on, so I decided I would come in and try to maybe take a look. And then I realized that Martha was here. Maybe we'll see if we can snag her and get to talk a little bit about the show. Stay tuned. Well, as is usual with my schedule, I'm here about 10 minutes before closing time, so we're gonna see what we can catch. Painted Desert Rainbow. It's 1974-75 acrylic on canvas. Maybe we'll slide past some of the smaller pieces so we can concentrate on the larger pieces. Martha is actually a good painter. She's a pretty good technician, and I'm looking at some of the way that she overlays her images. Is very nice. Probably we should take some time to look at the larger pieces. Okay, this is Women in a Landscape. It's acrylic on canvas, 98 by 202 inches. So that's 8 by 18 feet, something like that. So I like the way you've got a very kind of basic landscape, very simple, but and Martha is able to get in and render her forms, especially in the portraits, very sharply. Okay, I wonder if those are all the same model in various poses. I'm looking at the horizon line and it doesn't exactly line up straight, so I'm thinking maybe she painted each one of these panels separately, but okay, they do kind of look like each one of these is a singular group portrait group portrait of the same person. So there's a nice color thing happening here. titled Birds. A view from Lincoln Tower. So, I think Martha's a great figurative painter, but she's also great with this architectural landscapes. So I think they're calling these erotic paintings, and this is 1974, so that would be about the time that some of the new figurative painters started coming on the scene, or at least started being paid attention to. People like Phil Pearlstein, some other people. I was also going to say that I think Martha has gotten some flack because it's one thing to portray a woman totally nude, but it was always the question of how much of the male anatomy you could show before you slipped into the realm of porn. It's a view of Central Park West, 1972. And as I was saying, she was doing some things about the time a lot of people were sort of getting back into the figure, but I think it's more interesting that she almost has a kind of surrealism involved in some of this, the overlaying of the images. View of the Empire State Building from Sheep Meadow. Okay, so Sheep Meadow is in Central Park. And, gosh, I wonder if the 70 to 72, and this is 76 by 94 inches. I wonder if there were hipsters back in the early 70s that were actually sunbathing in the park in the nude. Okay, and she's very articulate with her little details. We got a Coke can. Also, in the little wall text, she talks about how she wanted to render her figures with all the imperfections. And it's a rather ample female figure here that would not be your average figure that people would want to see, at least some people. I would. It's another big painting. It's a Seal Central Park Zoo. Well, Eric Firestone has done a great job of kind of rediscovering a lot of artists, particularly women artists that have kind of fallen out of the spotlight. A lot of them were popular in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Okay, and again we've got, I think, okay, so maybe that's a guy and a lady, and then she's melded them together here in the middle. So let's take a look at her brushwork on the waves. That's always interesting. Acrylic on canvas. This is from 1970 and 71. Let's run into the back room. Okay, I thought this was a really nice piece. Okay, I like this self-portrait with tools. It's acrylic ink and collage on canvas, 5 panels. 60 by 120, so that's roughly 5 by 10 feet. I think this gives you a chance to see the kind of quality of Martha's draftsmanship, draftspersonship. Oh, there's the artist. Okay, so we've got our tools, we've got our work apron on, a lot of paint on there. Also, this is on prime canvas, a lot of this. Okay, I get it. She's got the ones on the side of the full figures and then the one in the center. The figure is split down the middle and then pushed over to the edges of the plane. We got our hacksaw drill gun. That makes me think of some of Jim Dian's tool paintings from the 60s. It's a fun piece. Looks like she was doing something a little different here. Titled Flesh Cycle. Okay. So Martha is putting out some pretty sensual things. Okay, so that's kind of makes me think of Peter Saul and some of his jokes, but we've got like flesh Vespas. We got the brown and the pink. This is 83 by 68. Some smaller pieces. Okay, this is the piece that was in Monument Valley. $74.75. This is 48 by 90. So we've got our two female nudes out there in the sun, and okay, it looks like these ladies would need a lot of sunscreen if they were going to spend much time out there. Now, is that sage? Could be. Also, it's like a wonderful Georgia O'Keeffe landscape. And you've got your nudes in there. Nora 3, this is 1970 acrylic on canvas, 54 by 72. And again, we've got our female nudes. Here they're turning off the lights. Radical eroticism. Okay. Well, it's after closing time, so we'll just make a quick sweep around here. This is titled David 2, 1971. Acrylic on linen, 42 by 68. Okay, I like this. It looks like she's using a little more nubby linen, so she has a little more scumbling in there. See if we can get a picture of this one. J2, 71, it's 52 by 53. And I was talking about how Martha's got some real good painter chops. She can do the figures, she can do the urban landscapes, the cityscapes, and she's also doing a pretty good job on this kind of satin. I think there was a whole period of Dutch Renaissance art, Ter Borch, and a couple of other fantastic Dutch painters. And the test was always how well you could render your satin and silk surfaces. We're just going to slide down the wall, and it's after closing time. These are drawings, pastel on paper. These are 70-71. These are 14 by 17 or 17 by 14. Again, nice color things happening. But we've snagged Martha Edelheit, and we're looking at a show of your work from 1965 to 1980. I just was kind of wondering about the milieu that you were in the 1970s, and people were sort of getting tired of abstract expressionism, and pop had already popped, but there were some other serious people doing figurative work.
Yes.
Do you feel like you were part of that? And
no, not really. I knew people like Bob Thompson and Mary
yes.
Frank and Jan Muller.
They were all lived around this neighborhood too.
Yes, they did. Except that I didn't. I lived all the ways
Up at the top, right? And
but I was friends with everybody.
tell us a little bit about where you studied.
I didn't. I studied all over Europe and all over looking at art.
But your draftsmanship is exquisite, and it was all taught by yourself. And okay, one other question. I'll make this brief. I know that there was a certain amount of consciousness raising with feminists and stuff in the 60s and 70s, and I was wondering, did you get any pushback when you started rendering the male nude, let's say, the full male nude?
Yes, I did. And not actually, the feminist movement really didn't start till 1973.
Okay.
And I was doing these in the early 60s.
So you were a real outlier.
I was way outlier, yes. And I had a big show at the Byron Gallery in 1966. And John Kennedy, who was the chief critic for the New York Times
Yes.
at the time, came up to review my show, and my gallery dealer, Charles Byron, said he spent 2.5 hours looking at my show, and then came into the back room and said to Charles, "I can't review that obscene woman." That was 1966.
Okay.
Okay, and I was doing, I got a lot of pushback. I had a big show in Evanston, Illinois, and the board of directors of the museum tried to take the show down. And I had to get it. I got letters from Irving Sandler and Linda Nachman and all kinds of other people saying that
Keep it up.
that I was an important artist and that they couldn't do that.
Did they end up doing it, or did you keep the show up?
Yeah, they kept the show.
Oh, good. Well, okay. Congratulations. I just wanted to sort of talk to you about that. I thought it was a pretty interesting aspect, and compared to what you see these days, this is pretty tame, I guess. But I guess the reason we think of that is because of the people like you that were kind of pioneers and were pushing the limits.
Well, when I was doing this, there were really almost nobody doing totally doing it.
Especially of men.
Men at all. There actually was an artist named Stevenson, I think, a guy, and about 3 or 4 years later he had a big show with male nudes, and Canada Day did review that show.
Oh, yeah,
It was a male
okay.
doing male nudes.
Okay, well, that makes it okay, I guess. All right, Martha, it's after closing time. You can call the Uber now. Okay, thank you so much.
Do you have the art?
James Kalm reporting on Martha Edelheit, Naked City paintings from 1965 to 1980. Here at Eric Firestone Gallery. You can like this, share, link it up to all your social media sites. You can discuss it at your next opening, and you can leave your thoughts, ideas, comments, criticisms, and reviews and suggestions below, and you can subscribe as long as you say, thank you, Kate. And by the hand.